Animals can be a man's or a woman's best friend. But being a caretaker is a little more than just owning a pet. There are many choices you must make to be a good owner. Have you ever been to a pet store recently? Seen all the cute little puppies and kittens in the cages? Probably not. The reason you haven't is from a movement from the SPCA, and Humane Societies, and your local animal shelters. With millions of pets in shelters and millions dying every year, it's a good place to look if you're looking to get a new pet for your family. Let's take a look at why there's a lack of pets in pet stores. Over the last couple of years, the SPCA, Humane Society, and animal shelters have figured that there are 6 to 8 million pets in shelters every year. 3 to 4 million of them are euthanized or killed every year. The reason they're killed or euthanized is because of lack of space, lack of funding, and lack of veterinary care for so many animals. Let's take a look at why there's so many abandoned animals out there and how they end up in the shelters to begin with. Abandoned animals come from several walks of life. Some are simply lost, and the owners didn't bother to put their name on their collar with a phone number so they can be returned. Some of them are aggressive dogs that get picked up by the SPCA or animal control. And some were simply dropped off by their owners after they were no longer cute and cuddly. The puppies for profit and the kittens for cash has been a problem in the United States for a long time. They're starting to see a decline in this trend, but it's still out there. Some people still think of it as a responsible way of making money, while the majority of the United States doesn't think so. And that's proven in the lack of puppies and kittens in pet stores. The human factors that drive all these things are people themselves. People tend to buy a cute little puppy or buy a cuddly little kitten for their kids and think, oh, this will make a great birthday present, this will make a great Christmas present. You see it all the time. Commercials, movies, television shows. And they think it's a good idea. But without the proper research and the proper care, it can be a recipe for disaster. Not for you, but for the animal. The animal's alive too, just like you, just like your kids. So make sure that you put the right amount of consideration before you get a pet. Once the puppy or the kitten starts to grow up, they don't look so cute and cuddly anymore, and people will just drop them off after they're no longer useful to them. Other factors include lack of funds. The animals aren't cheap to take care of, and vet bills can be high in certain instances. A lack of time. People just don't have the time nowadays to take care of their pets, which leads to neglect. And neglect in animals leads to bad behavior in animals, which leads to them eventually being dropped off at the local pound, or worse, on the side of a road. Other things are training. Don't just run over to the pet store or run over to your local breeder and pick up a dog thinking that, well, anybody can train a dog or a cat. It's simply not true. If you don't know what you're doing, take the time to do some research, or take your new puppy to the pet store. Many pet stores, including Petco and PetSmart, offer training classes, obedience classes, and whatnot for your animal and you, so you can both understand each other's personalities and learn how to live with each other comfortably. This will make owning your pet a much more enjoyable experience, because these pets don't just live for 1 or 2 years. Some dogs can live to be 25 years old, and if you're not prepared to take care of it for 25 years, please do yourself a favor and everybody else and look for something else to entertain yourself with. Spaying and neutering animals is very important. Like I said, with 6 to 8 million pets in shelters every year, and half of them being killed every year for various reasons, spaying animals and neutering animals is the most effective, safe, and humane way to control the population. It's not harmful to the animals, and it's relatively inexpensive, all things considered. If you take a look at your average puppy, we'll say that you decide to go out and buy a puppy. Once you purchase everything you need on day one for that puppy, from its collar and leash to its name tags, to its rabies shots, its kennel, its water dishes, its food, its toys, its treats, you're probably going to spend $200 to $300 that very first day. And then, when you think about spaying and neutering, it isn't that bad. With most spay and neuterings only costing between $75 and $150 depending on the breed and the size of the animal, it's pretty cost effective. And it's a responsible thing to do. Most humane societies and SPCAs will either spay and neuter the pets once they're determined to be adoptable, or they will make it a requirement before they allow you to take the animal home. This will ensure responsible pet ownership, and also ensure that 10 or 12 puppies don't end up right back at the SPCA 8 months later. So make sure you know what you're doing, do your research, be a responsible owner, and you too can end up with rescued dogs or rescued cats in your house that become a loving part of your family. I personally have 3 dogs, different shapes and sizes, and they're just a part of the family as my kids. We wouldn't have it any other way. So please, do your part, spay and neuter your animals, and don't adopt a pet on a whim. And you'll find a very loving animal for your family. Thank you.